morning, y'all, y buenos dias. So this is part 2 of my breastfeeding journey video. If you guys are interested in watching the first part, then I'll link it down below. And if you just want to see this part, then hey, how you doing? So this is my weaning portion. This is also a super highly requested video. And in this video, I'll just show you guys our journey as to how we weaned Luna. So again, as always, I need to preface all these videos because this is just what we did. This is what we felt was a good decision for our family, and this is just how it played out. People decide on different things at different times for different reasons, and that's totally up to them. And so this is just what we decided and how we felt everything was as smooth as possible. And so starting off, Luna, we were at the point where Luna was nursing super frequently in the middle of the night, and she was around 20 months. And I got exhausted. I got really tired of being up all night nursing her, to the point where when I'd wake up in the morning, I felt like I hadn't slept at all. Like it felt almost like a waste of night because I had not rested at all. And so I wanted to clearly do it as gentle, as tearless, as smooth as possible, because I really, don't believe in the crying it out method. I feel personally like it's not something that I was able to do. And so I wanted it to be as gentle as possible for both me and her. And so at around 20 months, I started to not nurse her every time she wanted to nurse. And so, like I said, she was nursing almost every hour and a half, which was just so unbelievably exhausting. And so I would nurse her at the first time that she would wake up, and then the second one I wouldn't. And I would just rock her, and I would sing to her, and I would walk her around in the room until she fell asleep. And so we would skip that one nurse for that time period. And then it was super gradual. It took forever, y'all. It was not an overnight thing. It wasn't like, ooh, she's not nursing anymore. And so it took months and months of that slowly incorporating to the point where she got to nursing to wake up, nursing to go down for a nap, nursing to go down to go to sleep, and then nursing once in the middle of the night, which for me, it sounds ridiculous, but for me, that was like heaven. That was amazing, just because she was so used to nursing so often. I mean, I was just so exhausted all of the time just because of the frequency of it. And so, yeah, she would just go straight back to sleep, but then I had to go back to sleep. And we're a co-sleeping family, and so it's a million times easier if they're laying right next to you, as opposed to them being in another room or in a crib or anything like that. So I'm at least grateful for that, because I don't know how I would have been able to do it if she had been sleeping on another surface. I would have been like twice as exhausted as I already was. And so, yeah, so I got to the point where she was only nursing to go to sleep once while she was asleep in the middle of the night, and then once again to wake up. And so that kept going. And at this point, she's around 23, 24 months. She's like almost 2, and she would just skip her morning nurse altogether, because she was like up and would run out of the room and start running around and stuff. So I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, that's, whatever you want. I'm totally cool with that. And so she was only nursing to go to sleep, and then once in the middle of the night. And then all of a sudden, there was a night where she just didn't nurse at all throughout the night. And it was my first night ever, within 2 years, that I had slept without her waking up to nurse. And it was surreal. It was something that I can't even explain how I felt, which is funny because I still woke up because my body was just so used to it. But I was like, whoa, she's not up, she's just sleeping. And it kind of freaked me out at the same time, just because I was so used to her. And so that happened for a couple of nights, and which was really exciting. I was like, ooh, this is the next step. This is the next, moment. And so after a while, that went back and forth, because this is not linear at all either. Like, I don't want you guys to think that like, oh, they go from this to this to this, because they go back and forth all of the time. And so she was at that point where she wasn't nursing at all, and then she started teething again. And so she started nursing again at night, but then we brought it back down again. And so it got further to the point of where she was nursing only to go to sleep, which was awesome. It was so great. Again, that was the next step, because I didn't have to worry about her sleeping throughout the night or anything like that. And so I was only nursing her to go to sleep. And so that was really exciting. That was at around the point where she was 2. And then the next huge, massive, unbelievable step happened, which was she accidentally fell asleep in the car, which she hates riding the car seat. Like, I mean, I know that's a strong word, but I feel like it's adequate for her emotions of that car seat. There is nothing Luna dislikes as much as her car seat. Like, really, there's nothing. Like, she's so chill anywhere, planes, confined spaces, places with a bunch of people, places with like, I mean, like anything. Doesn't like her car seat. And so she fell asleep in it, which had never happened before, ever. And it was on her way to Springfield, and it was like during her nap time or whatever. So we were like, cool, she slept and you didn't have to nurse her. So I was like, awesome. Zach was really excited for me. And so that happened. And then once we got home from grocery shopping, I had her in my arms and I was like doing something, and I realized that she had fallen asleep in my arms. And I was like, whoa, she just fell asleep again without me nursing her. So I freaked out. I was like, how is this happening? How is this continuously happening? And I think it's just something that clicked within her, because I didn't do anything different. I wasn't intending on not nursing her at night to go to sleep or anything like that. It just happened. And so the next day, the same thing happened with her nap again. And I was just walking around with her, and she was super tired and she fell asleep. So I was like, so it was 3 nursing times that she had skipped. And that night, I think it was a Friday, and our friend Bella came over, and me and her were just like watching movies or something like that. And I was like, okay, you know, it's time to go to sleep, Blue. Ya hora de dormir. And I picked her up and I like started cleaning up her toys and stuff that she had, and she fell asleep again. So at that point, it was almost like a challenge. At that point, she hadn't fussed about it, she hadn't complained about it, she hadn't asked for it. So I was like, I'm gonna just keep it going. Like, I'm just gonna keep on going and see how far along we can go. And that's how she stopped nursing. It's just, she stopped. That was it. And I think it was just because she got so used to how infrequent she was nursing that it just sort of like clicked, I guess, in her, like, okay, this is cool. Like, we'll just do this. Which I was super, super grateful for, just because, like I said, I didn't want to forcibly wean her. I didn't want her to be crying all night or anything like that, because not only it goes against like your instinct to let your kid cry all the time, but also it sucks. And like, you want to sleep, you know? And so sometimes it's a little bit easier just to nurse them, just to get them to go back to sleep, than to try anything else. And so I lucked out again, and she just stopped. Like, all of a sudden just stopped. And now she is, she's 24, 26 months, 27 months, something like that. And yeah, and so she doesn't nurse anymore, which is awesome. And sometimes she'll ask for it, but almost in a playful way. And like, I'll just kind of distract her again and just be like, oh, ha ha ha, you know, whatever. And that's it. She won't cry for it or anything like anything else. That's just it. And so now, to put her to sleep, because she still goes to bed around the same time, around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And so we have a pretty standard routine, which I'll also make a video on as well. ¿Qué es eso? Oh, okay. I'll also make a video on, just to show you guys just what we do. But we start by picking up all the stuff that's around the house, and we clean the kitchen, and then we go and we take a shower, and we do like whatever kind of oils we have, whether it's like avocado oil or whatever kind of oil, coconut oil, and massage, and then PJs on, and then it's time to rock her to sleep. And so I just grab her right here, just walk around with her for a little while and start singing to her. And most times it takes anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes to put her down to sleep, which again may seem, you know, weird for anybody else who's not used to that, but for me it's just really awesome. It's a great time for us to relax. And now that I don't nurse her to go to sleep, Zach's able to put her down to sleep, which has been a really cute bonding experience for them too, because he had never been able to put her to sleep. She goes to sleep, she would go to sleep by nursing. And so now most of the nights he puts her down to go to sleep, which has given me a whole nother realm of freedom. And that's like some time that I get to myself, and I'll either read at that time or get work done or whatever it is that I need to do, which is really great. And so it was a long journey, and again, it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't something where it happened like a 3-day kind of thing or anything like that. It just took time from her going from nursing every hour and a half to not nursing at all. And I think that that's something that we all need to realize, is that not to compare ourselves as parents, and not to compare babies to other babies either, because you know, we all have that tendency to want to compare ourselves to others and be like, oh, well, you know, that baby doesn't nurse anymore. Like, why does my baby have to nurse all the time? And that's a feeling that I had a lot, just because it's just like, damn, like, why you gotta be nursing all the time? You know, that's just a natural feeling that I got. And I just had to remind myself, like, she's not another baby. I'm not another mama. And so I need to respect that, and I need to see that. And we all have different needs and wants. And so try to respect that as much as you can when it comes to this. I know that it's really hard and difficult at times, and you just have to make the best decision as to what works for you and your family and your dynamic, because not everyone's dynamic is the same either. Like, I had the liberty to work from home this entire time, and so I was able to nurse her as often as she wanted. Not everyone has that liberty to do that. And so not only be mindful of yourself, but be mindful of others. Try not to judge other people for when they do or don't stop nursing, whether, you know, they're still nursing a 3-year-old or they have a 6-month-old that they don't nurse anymore. Just try to be mindful that their life is not your life, and you don't have the same pain receptors, you don't have the same patience, you don't have the same time and ability and access and all of these things. Like, we're all completely different, and so we need to see that, and we need to be mindful and respectful of other people's decisions to how they raise their children. And so yeah, so that is my how I weaned Luna video. If you guys have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Tlazocamahti for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.